think you're racist against your own race.
You can't be racist against one own race.
You've proven yourself wrong.
Self-loathing, at the very least.
You're like a self-loathing Jew, but you're not even Jewish.
Well, first off, I haven't come up with a name of a race that I am. I'm thinking Homo Novus, but I haven't really gotten around to kind of cementing that.
I like to call you a Paley.
That works too, Homo Paley. Which sounds like the worst gay bar name ever.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to
Didn't Homo Paley play soccer at one point?
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the
He used to play soccer.
Podcast.
Episode
157. I am one of your hosts, Adam, and with me today I have a plethora of guests, including Aaron Bishop.
Plethora?
Aaron Bishop.
I'm a guest. Hello. Hey.
Andrew.
Hey, welcome back.
And longtime fan and occasional contributor, Thomas Shea.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, we're back after a 1 week off.
I believe...
Aaron died.
Yeah.
I believe what happened was Aaron's asshole turned into Mount Krakatoa.
Also, my mouth was the other end of Krakatoa. There was a lot of fluid coming out of both ends for a long time.
Did you feel like you were going to explode? Like that air would go through and then just...
Did it feel like you were crying out of your asshole?
It felt like I was pissing out of my asshole is what it was. I was pissing out of my asshole. So, see you later, everybody. Thanks for watching.
I'll just know to fast forward.
It was I was the most sick I've been. The most violently sick I've been in a long time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the PixelJunkies podcast.
So
we had a bit of a false start there, don't you worry.
That's fine, we're all good.
Speaking of that though, apparently IGN says bathroom dryers are spraying hot feces germs.
It's not just IGN, Adam. This is a scientific study.
Yeah, but why is IGN reporting on it? Just another example of why the website is dog shit.
It's video game journalism, Adam. That should say everything you need to know about how relevant things are.
Oh man, I died.
Fuck. I like how the first comment on that article was another great article from the world's premier gaming website. Why is that on IGN? Like, I understand if that was on, like, MSN.com or something
because,
like that.
Adam, that is in-game name.
What?
You got it.
Okay.
Hey,
thing.
guys.
Oh, man, this another great transition.
Is Facebook listening?
I don't
know. I can't see.
If we're loud,
Facebook listening.
if we're loud, then the monsters will come.
Did you see that movie?
Yes.
So, what Andrew's alluding to is Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook has been in a lot of trouble lately over spying.
We were sitting there for half an hour thinking about stuff to put on it, and that's not on the list.
Well, we can talk about it if you want.
I guess so, but okay, fuck Andrew.
No. So we saw A Quiet Place, which is the new... I forget the director's name.
John Krasinski?
Yeah, John Krasinski. It's his new movie, and it's also his directorial debut. He stars in it along with his wife, Emily Blunt, and...
Is that his wife?
Yep.
Oh, they're married.
Yep.
Wow.
How?
He's not actually married to Pam, which apparently surprised a lot of people during a lot of interviews.
Well, I knew he wasn't married to Pam.
No?
What's her name? Jenny something? I don't know. Maybe it's not even Jenny.
I like how you completely flummox this anti-drone jammer, by the way, by just going up.
And away a little bit.
Genius.
I thought it was pretty good.
You doing okay?
No, man. So I thought this was a really good movie. So
It was a great movie.
Basic premise of the movie, if you haven't heard of it, is it's a horror, well, more of a thriller movie, really, where Earth is under attack by these creatures. They're completely blind, and I guess they can't smell either. But they have ultra-sensitive hearing, and they will go after any loud noise that they hear and kill it. So even like animals and stuff. So the protagonist of the movie, which is I never actually learned their names until the credits, but you know,
the dad.
Yeah, the dad. This family it ends up surviving because they've just learned the secret, which is just you have to be very quiet through the whole thing. So they're speaking in sign language. They walk on sand everywhere that muffles their footprints. They're they're very, very clever when it comes to like eliminating any potential source of noise, and the movie is basically about them attempting to. I don't know what you're doing.
Sign language.
Okay. Did you do the one for Jew?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, quick aside, the American Sign Language for Jew, there's 3 symbols. There's this, and there's this. That's the American Sign Language symbols for Jews. That's racist as hell.
So does that mean somebody doing sign language is inherently racist because the sign language is racist?
Yep.
That's the fault with communication.
Anyway, I don't, say any more about the movie would really kind of spoil it. But,
Thomas, have you seen it?
No.
Well,
I don't care, though.
I mean, it's a great movie. It uses sound very effectively.
Damn, I'm going to listen to this later, too. It doesn't matter what I do.
It's very effective using, not just like the lack of dialogue, but also like the intensity of noise to really help bring out the thrills, for lack of a better term. It's a very interesting movie to go in watching, knowing that they're going to be playing a lot with sound because they do a lot of very interesting things with it.
It's one of the worst possible concepts for a movie.
For a theater.
Yes.
It does not work. Wait until it comes out. Don't if you're in an area where there are a lot of shitty people that go to the movies.
Well, if you can go to the theater and like be by yourself, that'd be cool.
Yeah, or that.
It's a
very quiet movie.
At one point in the movie, one of the characters cocks a shotgun, and the whole movie's like theater's trying to be very quiet because it's a quiet movie. And you hear in the front row somebody and the guy in the front like.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a quiet movie. You don't realize how quiet a movie theater is until you watch that movie,
or how loud it is. Really.
And well, yeah, with everybody in it, yeah. Because like most of the movie, you just hear people crinkling bags and fucking moving about. It's kind of throws you out of the immersion a little bit, I guess, of the movie when you're shitty dick sack. When you got to watch it with assholes. Oh damn. Yeah. So watch it by yourself if you can.
It's like shh, be very quiet. The monsters will hear. Yeah, so I was talking to John.
Also, somebody's cell phone rang.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the movie, they're like,
fuck.
Way to go, Splinter Cell.
You've been made.
Fuck you, you fucking idiot. Anyway, that's a good segue to this, me failing this, is we're playing the Sam Fisher mission they added to this. Trying to, anyway.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Michael Ironside reprises his role as Sam Fisher.
Hell yeah.
When was the last Splinter Cell game?
Blacklist.
Came out 2014?
Was it 2014?
Might have been.
I'll look it up.
Anyway, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. You should watch it.
Yes. I also enjoyed the movie.
Good movie.
It's
well acted, well shot. Everything's good.
Barring any surprises, it's probably going to be my favorite horror movie that comes out this year, even though it's more thriller than anything else. But
yeah,
I mean,
it really wasn't very scary, but it was.
Although there was a few startling scenes.
Tense.
Yeah, the whole movie is really tense.
There's a couple like cheap. I don't even call them jump scares. They're almost just like.
I can only remember.
There's suddenly
one,
a really loud thing.
Jump scare.
Oh, there was more than one.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I don't want to say them because it'll ruin the movie.
I wasn't particularly scared at any point, but when you're in a theater and everything fucking vibrates when there's a noise that's super loud, it's like hard to not be like, oh shit.
I mean, you can tell when a jump scare is going to happen.
Yeah, it's still it gets turbo quiet, but
5 years ago,
it's already a quiet movie.
Yeah.
5
And
years ago,
I don't know. Sometimes you expecting them and you still shoot around in your seat. So
the only major problem I have with this film is it's not even a problem, but I would have liked to have had.
Oh, this is part of that base. God fucking.
I don't know what's going on with my throat today.
I think you just shot some shrubs.
You got any?
I would have liked to have seen the movie
with.
I do.
Okay.
With no music, except for the really intense scenes. But in the very quiet scenes, there's like low ambient music, and I would have liked to just had no music at all. I wonder how that would have affected the movie-going experience, because the music was telling the mood, where I felt like that should have been conveyed more by the silence and the
I wonder if that was the
actors.
intention, and they watched it and it was like...
Wasn't clear enough?
Maybe the message was lost on vast
maybe.
audiences.
My question would be, I was involved with one horror production locally at one time, where there was quiet scenes, and like when they went to the editing process, the scene was supposed to be quiet, and if they tried to like get the audio down to the point where it was actually like as quiet and uncomfortable as they wanted, it was just like the movie got muted, and if they left the sound on at all, it just sounded awkward. So a lot of the time, the reason they put in any form of ambient music there is just
driving down the
to
street.
try and cover cheapness.
It might be, but I mean, no offense to your production, but I would imagine that a Hollywood movie has...
It is a genuine problem that a lot of them have, because footsteps, or just like moving back and forth like you do to look natural in these scenes, will make sounds.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I'd be interested to see at the very least. I mean, maybe it doesn't work, and that's why they had to put in which case, good job on that, but it would have been nice to just had that experience, you know, maybe like an alt cut of the movie that has very little music. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Well, you know what franchise wouldn't be better with no music? The Lord of the Rings. Because the music is an integral part of those films.
I would argue that as well, yes.
But enough about those shitty films. Fuck that. Let's have a TV show.
Well, I thought that 3 of them were really good and 3 of them were really shitty. You determine which one.
I like them all.
You like...
I like 4
the
of
Hobbit
them.
movies,
Okay, okay. Let's be fair. I liked 5 of the movies. The Hobbit,
Okay,
A
well,
Battle of
that
Five
changed
Armies
rapidly.
is a genuinely awful
That
movie.
went from 50% to almost 100%.
And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? The Hobbit movies are actually pretty good. Except for... I mean, they have their problems. They're not nearly as good.
Fuck me.
No, they're not as good, but...
I think it goes to the difference of I'm proven versus I'm trying to prove a point.
This is a good way to get in, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, filmmakers do a better job when they're trying to prove to you they're good.
Well, anyway, what's your point? I was going to
Amazon
segue, but...
is making a Lord of the Rings TV show.
Interesting.
They've committed to 5 seasons?
Already?
What?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, what's
is it going to be
then?
filmed in New Zealand still?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Don't know if we have the details on that. They're committed to 5 seasons. Currently, it's $250 million. They say if they're going with 5 seasons, it may end up being $500 million, and by the time the series is finished, may end up being over $1 billion, which is a lot of money to invest in something that we already have a good version of.
I'm really, really hoping that instead of doing the Lord of the Rings story, because I really don't think there's 5 seasons worth of material in the 3 books.
I'd say it's going to go starting back.
Yeah, I hope. Well, I mean, I was talking about this with Aaron and Andrew earlier in the week, and we were saying that like it would be cool to see like part of the Silmarillion, and to get like not so much like the Morgoth stuff, because that's just like epic like fantasy world building, but more like Sauron. Like start with Sauron creating the the rings of power, in order to corrupt the elves, and then more for the dwarves and more for the humans, and
where did
have
Sauron
that whole
come
story.
from?
So he was one of Morgoth's agents. He was like his top lieutenant, or one of his top lieutenants. And there was also the Balrog.
Don't you know who Morgoth is, Thomas?
So Morgoth. So okay.
Thanks, Andrew.
Very quick, because I mean it's quite dense. There was first there was darkness, and then there was this guy named Inu. I can't remember what the creator deity is. And there was this creator god who came in, and he was like, I'm going to make everything. And so he made the world, he made a bunch of other like powerful, like lesser powerful gods called the Daedra. I can't remember what their names are. It's been a while.
Daedra, yeah.
Well, they're not the Daedra, but anyway, he made a bunch of like lesser powerful gods to help like just be friends with him, and one of them was called Morgoth, or actually that wasn't his name originally. It was like Malekith or something like that.
Malakath, yeah.
And he was like the prettiest and the best and the most intelligent, so obviously he turned evil. Mm-hmm. And there was a big war where he fought everyone else and got his ass handed to him. And he said, well, fuck this. And then all the gods made the world. And the world, like Malekith, now going by Morgoth, was like, I'm actually going to invade this world and kind of corrupt it. So he did, and then he fought a bunch of wars, of which he lost every single one, because they'd be like, I have this unstoppable army, but elves exist and they're just better in every way, and they're just gonna wipe me out. And then, so there's a bunch of stuff that goes on with him, including like his war for the Silmarils. And
so they have a lot of content they can make a series out of.
Yes, but what the
none of that will be in the series.
No. So
they have 5 seasons and like $1 billion. What do you mean?
Anyway, so there's the main god, and then there's like the other like lesser gods, and then those lesser gods made angels. Sauron was an angel who fell along with Morgoth. Quickly.
Are you not allowed to kill people?
No, you're gonna sneak in. I did this first trial and I was screwing around with it. I don't know why I can't do it now.
So yeah, that's what I hope to do with the series, is do Sauron, or do like Tales from Lord of the Rings. So each season is a different, because there's other stories in the Middle Earth. So like the fall of, there's actually a new book coming out, the fall of Gondolin.
Yeah,
I think it's what it's called. They did stuff like that, or like the rise of
shit.
I forget what the name of the book is, but it details the rise of the first dragon, the first fire drake, Galmarug, I think was his name. Mm-hmm. It'd be cool if you got like different little vignettes per season, kind of almost like an American Horror Story thing. Anyway,
it'll be. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be like Game of Thrones. It's going to mimic Game of Thrones as much as it can.
I think
probably.
I'm going to say too, they're probably going for, as soon as Game of Thrones is done, we can release this and look like heroes.
Yeah.
Everyone will be like.
Well, they gotta get it. They gotta bring it out within like 2 years.
That's not that hard to start a season.
No, I suppose not.
Really?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of pre-production going into this, unless they're borrowing all the stuff from the Jackson movies.
Any distractions?
Hopefully with the budget this big, the special effects are going to be good. And you know what might
they have
make
to be
the
good.
Special effects easier to make is if they just use a new piece of technology to make the special effects, like the CG and whatnot. Maybe even like a video game console.
Is it your goal to like sew topics together with like the eloquence of like a blind drunk man?
But a PlayStation 4. Like, this game isn't on a PS4 right now, but it is.
Yeah.
But it's not powerful enough for movie quality CG.
So what
Aaron,
could
a theoretical PlayStation 5 be powerful enough?
Man, I remember back in the day when, I don't know, PS2 was still a thing, and people were calculating that by PS5 it would be able to like do your taxes for you and shit, like an actual robot.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't know. I mean,
how do you know?
It turns out that doing taxes is actually quite hard.
Would a PS5 be able to do all of that shit? Absolutely not. Because new game consoles are PC hardware from like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So no.
So what are these? What are all these rumors I'm hearing then?
Well, there's been a couple of rumors floating around. I think what it is primarily is it's just fake. Somebody took like the PS4 press stuff and changed a bunch of numbers in it to seem a bit more relevant,
incrementally better.
Yeah, because there was apparently a lot of typos in it, but it has been 5 years at this point since the last console generation was introduced. Now we do have the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X.
I thought the whole point of this generation of consoles was that it was supposed to. I was under the impression that what was going to happen is instead of
the 5 year,
they were going to release like incremental upgrades to the system. So instead of so it'd be like PS4.1, PS4.2, etc. I don't know if they've abandoned that plan or not, but I really don't want to have to spend any more money on a console. I mean, I'm planning on getting a PC anyway, and if they do that, I'll probably just switch most of my games over to, my gaming over to PC.
You should do that anyway, regardless of what happens with consoles.
I mean, maybe you should shut your cock holster.
As it
is that a mouth?
As it goes, I think the main rumors came out because dev kits, or I guess dev specifications, might have been distributed to developers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically, they're given that many years in advance anyway, so that they can prepare for launch title purposes and all this sort of stuff.
Fuck.
So Ubisoft can have their random junk games for the first 2 years of the console that everyone buys because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was deciding this before, but I'm done with consoles after the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna be PC.
Yeah, I
person.
think this generation of consoles has kind of done that because it's doing, to some degree, what you're saying, Adam, the incremental stuff. We've always gotten like a new version of a game console, like the PlayStation Slim and that type of thing. It never really changes the hardware. Now that we have the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, I don't think there's been enough time elapse for people to commit, just about like $1,000 every generation with games and hardware and stuff to a new console. I don't think it's been long enough.
No.
Yeah.
And so PC is the better alternative because if you want to upgrade, I mean, it doesn't cost that much. You just swap out a part with something else. So
it's the way I look at it is PCs are more expensive up front, but it's cheaper over the course of 10 years.
Yeah, and
you got to get on board with my system of building a PC.
Yeah.
Well,
which is like somehow getting awesome parts for free or next to nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it helps that we live in a province where people don't know what they have, or they far overvalue what they have. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, true that.
We can't all Frankenstein our PCs.
But I think that's turning a lot of people to
Adam,
PC gaming.
You know me,
So.
you know other people. We can Frankenstein you a PC. I got 2 other cases now.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I got the beige cases after. And they cut my fingers almost instantly.
Why are you going with? Why do you want a beige case?
Just
make it a sleeper.
I want to make it like a sleeper. Just it looks like nothing, and then it is something.
Yeah.
But at this point, I got those for free, literally because they were scrap garbage, and I don't think I'll actually be able to fit my stuff in it.
Oh.
But
they're not very user friendly.
No, but I might just take the color of it and find some like plastic metal paint or whatever, so that I can spray the outside of my case before I do anything.
If I had the ability to make any kind of custom case for my PC, it would be a 7 foot tall by 3 feet wide black monolith, just a completely black monolith, and on top, near the top, would be a single red line of where like a light bar.
Fuck this fucking mission.
Like a Cylon, and that would just be my PC.
Sweet. Where are you gonna put that?
I don't know, in the corner.
Yeah, just don't put it on the floor.
I mean, it'll be designed to be put on the floor. It'll have the whole base support built into the thing.
It'll actually be a structural member of your house.
It'll have it. Its entire base will be a whole air conditioning unit. You have to connect it to your window.
When it turns on, in order to like when the fans turn on to cool it down, it'll sound like a rocket ship taking off.
Yeah.
Like everything in my room will get sucked into it like a vortex.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. So all this talk about PC stuff doesn't necessarily mean that there's no place for consoles.
We're gonna be out of topic.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're half an hour in.
That's fine. We can just vamp.
We're good.
Vamp.
Well, you're not letting us vamp because we're in the middle of talking about stuff, and you're like, let's move on.
We're half an hour in, and we're only a third through the top of the list. And this is a decent point This is a decent segue, but not anymore because you ruined it.
All right, let me give you a segue, and you're gonna have to try and link it back to the topic that's coming.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Dr. Pepper's my favorite drink.
Okay. Dr. Pepper was in a movie with Sylvester Stallone. The movie,
was it?
That movie? Yes. That movie. If you remember Rocky 3, he actually drinks a Dr. Pepper in the movie.
Okay.
Sylvester Stallone was in a movie with... bear with me. He was in a movie with...
There's a new God of War coming out. I'm just going to save you. There's a new God of War coming out soon. God of War 4. Everyone except for Aaron, I think, is pretty excited for this.
They should have called it God of 4.
They should have called it God of War.
I don't know. I think it looks really cool, and if I played it, I would probably shut up and enjoy it.
Actually, did you know Dr. Pepper was part of Sylvester Stallone's diet when he was getting in shape for Rocky? There you go.
How? Because I drink it and my face tends to balloon up a little bit.
He drank Dr. Pepper and ate eggs. That's all he did.
Sweet. No wonder he was in such good shape.
Is that for the last Rocky movie?
No, that was the first one.
Where he's an old crippled bat.
An amorphous blob.
Rocky versus Jabba the Hutt. Except Jabba the Hutt is Rocky.
Guys, I don't want to hear you criticizing Creed, the most recent Rocky movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's awesome.
I've heard good things.
It's part of the reason we had such a good villain in the Black Panther movie, and it's getting a sequel, Creed 2, which is probably also going to be sick. So
hopefully.
Whatever happened to Creed?
Apollo Creed?
No, the band.
I mean, oh,
didn't he blow up a church or something?
I don't know.
I thought he died because his heart stopped. Because that was Chris Stapp, wasn't it?
I don't know. We're digging way further into it than I expected.
Blowing up churches sounds like something I would do
in
in a Far Cry 5 game.
He didn't blow up a church. He became a church.
What a saint.
Okay, so God of War is coming out. If you don't know anything about this game, it's going to be taking place mainly in a Norse-inspired setting.
Fucking go
so
pro.
Where the first 3 games were Greek-inspired, where he was fighting the Greek pantheon. This one seems, I don't know if he's going to meet any members of the Norse pantheon. I would say
no, probably not.
I would actually guarantee that's a falsehood. I'd say it's probably very likely. But in trailers that we've seen him fight Jotun. We've seen him encounter Jormungandr, the World Serpent. He's the main enemies, the main kind of throwaway bad guys of the game seem to be Draugr. I think that's how you pronounce that. Draugr.
Yeah. Skyrim.
We need to fight more of those.
Well, it won't be like Skyrim because at least the combat will be a bit more dynamic than. And then shitty motion cap.
You don't know that? You've never played God of War?
Oh, I played the first one and I played the third one.
Fucking leave.
You haven't played God of War. This one.
God
you haven't
War
played.
4?
It's not called God of War 4.
I mean,
God of War.
But it is. It is God of War 4. So
it is, but it's not called it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a terrible... Just call it God... Or call it God of War, Chris Hemsworth edition.
The sequel will be called God of War Ragnarok.
How do you know that?
Because it has to be called God of War Ragnarok.
Well, why not call the third one that?
If it's a trilogy of Norse games, the third one will be Ragnarok. The second one will be some other shit. Something else.
How do I
Something
fail?
predictable.
Anyway, so in this game, they look to be vastly improving upon the story of the first God of War games, in which they're giving it more of one. Where
they're making it more cinematic. I don't know if I agree with them improving the story.
Well,
they're making it more.
They're making Kratos likable not likable, but potentially likable because he was not a likable character before. Which, fair enough. I mean, that was his whole shtick.
I liked how unlikable he was.
But I'd like to see the character evolve because if you want to play an unlikable Kratos, the first 3 games exist.
The first, how many are there?
I mean, there's a bunch of PS Vita games, but we don't need to talk about that console's dog shit. Except it's great, except nobody bought anything.
I think there's just PS P.
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
2, 3, 4.
But I'm excited for this game because Norse mythology is one of my favorites. It's a type of mythology that doesn't often get represented in games. Greek mythology, for some reason, just always seems more popular in video games and in media. There's far more Greek mythology stuff than Norse mythology. Barring, of course, the Thor movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But that's
Greek
kind of
mythology is great. But so is Norse mythology.
Oh, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I'm glad that we're getting some Norse stuff because Norse has really interesting mythology.
Well, Norse mythology has been given the spotlight these recent years.
Yes.
We've gotten a bunch of stuff.
But very few games, even games I can really think of, are like the Banner Saga and stuff like that.
Hellblade was, I don't think it was strictly Norse. I think it was more
barbaric.
Gaelic, I think.
Yeah. And I think the only one I can really think of, because I mean, like the Banner Saga is more loosely inspired, Jotun by I forget who made Jotun. White Lotus Games, I think it was.
Just because there was an explosion doesn't mean it was me.
That was based heavily on Norse mythology, where you end up fighting Naghir and many of the other Jotun. Although Naghir is the dragon that sucks on the amber of the world tree on the roots. It's really cool. It's a big fuck off dragon. I hope we get to fight that at some point, because one of my favorites. I really hope we don't have to fight like Fenrir and Jormungandr, and I'm probably pronouncing half these names wrong, but
yeah,
because Norse, I love the Norse language and like the Scandinavian language. I love their pronunciations, but fuck me if the English tongue is not designed for it.
I suspect we won't fight Jormungandr in this game.
Probably not. I guess we're teaming up with him and being like, hey, we're gonna fuck.
He'll at least. Well, we know we meet him in the game. Game's not out yet. The game comes out the Friday this video comes out.
You mean this coming Friday?
Yes.
It is released on a Monday.
Yes. So
why is the game coming out on a Friday?
The Friday of the week this video is released.
Why is it a Friday?
It's coming out this Friday.
Yes.
It's weird that it's a Friday.
Is it? Because I would actually.
A lot of games come out Friday.
I've always thought it was weird that games come out on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tuesday is like the standard. It's weird that games seem to be now switching to Friday.
But Friday's a better day for games.
It is a better day.
People realize that Friday's way better.
But why was it Tuesday for so long if it can easily be Friday?
That's a good question. Thomas, you know the answer? What do games come out on Tuesday?
Shipping.
Well, figure it out, shipping assholes.
Good point. Except we get our shipments on Thursdays in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
So, go figure.
So it sits in a warehouse for like 4 days, and they finally bring it to the store.
Yeah. So I guess moving on from that, I want to talk very quickly about a game that I've been playing a lot recently. I've been playing this kind of, not just to tide me over till God of War, although it's certainly doing that, but I picked up Far Cry 5 after we talked about it in the last podcast, because you two really seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's great.
And I didn't expect you guys to love that game, or not love, but really like the game. I'm like, oh, it must be good, and it is. You know,
well, I like all the Far Cry's.
I got a bit burnt out, but this is a good game.
Yeah, but why didn't you expect me to like the game if I liked them all?
No, I meant like more Aaron.
Maybe more surprised that I liked it
because Aaron doesn't like anything.
Well, Aaron's
old dick sack. I don't know.
Aaron's
this mission.
Picky when it comes to that kind of thing. Not that you're not picky.
This is the best Far Cry.
I have a lot of problems with the game, and there's a lot of stuff that this game does very well. So, I guess to go over them quickly.
Yep. Please take your time, though.
Stuff I like is
I
think the combat is, as good as it's ever been in Far Cry, because they've had like at least 3 main games to kind of polish the Ubisoft has had, because I think the first 2 were published by Crytek, weren't they? Were they published by?
Crytek was the first one.
Yeah, the first one was made by Crytek, yeah.
So anyway, they've had since number 2 to polish the gameplay, and the gameplay is really good. I love the fact that there are companions that you can bring along on missions. That's excellent. And a lot of the
companions. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
they add a bit of they add dynamic to the game, and the different companions each have different powers. So there's one who uses a bow that's good for stealth. There's one who is really good at front charging the enemy. There's one that's good at spotting enemies and just.
And they're different as well. Like some of them fly planes.
Yeah. Some
of them are animals. They're not all just
humans.
Different raced humans.
Yeah. I like I like the story right up until I don't. I'll get into why I don't like the story a bit later. But the main bad guys are very effective in making me not like them. They're also portrayed very well via motion capture and through the voice actors doing a fantastic job.
Great job.
In fact, there's fantastic voice acting across the board in this game.
Yeah.
The music is fantastic.
Incredible music. One of the best soundtracks in years.
Certainly the best soundtrack to come out of Ubisoft since Rayman Origins, in my opinion. There's I like the setting. I didn't think the setting of Montana would work, but it does because it doesn't have the same kind of just naturally doesn't have the same draw as tropical ocean island or Himalayas or Africa because it's it's just Montana. But I mean, there's a lot of interesting scenery and a lot of unique things in Montana that they're kind of able to tap upon, different cultural and idioms, I suppose, for lack of a better term, that they're able to kind of tap into to kind of help create a more solid feel from the game. It's easier. It's similar to how stuff like tribal tattoos and surfing and sharks go for the tropical setting. It's denim plaid denim jackets or Ford pickup trucks. I don't know why I said that in a slight accent. Shotguns.
You kind of have to, really.
I feel like the world space has more character than in previous games, and maybe that's just because
I've heard from some people from that area, from Montana, and they said it's very much a Canadian look at America.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
One of my friends.
Time America saw what everyone sees them as.
They have friends.
Am I right?
They have family in Montana as well, and it's pretty close. Yeah, it's definitely it's more of an objective look on something American from Canada. But I feel like the world has a bit more character. Maybe it's because it's closer to home than the Himalayas or Africa.
Yeah.
But oh my god,
it's certainly more recognizable.
Fuck this mission.
It's other points I like about the game. I like the central theme of the game, and the main bad guys come across at one point as being on one hand being very evil and hateful. On the other hand, you kind of get where they're coming from. They do a good job of portraying them as not slightly sympathetic, but more. They
justify their motives a bit.
Yeah.
I tell you, a well-written villain will save many a thing.
Yes, that's key. Now for some stuff I don't
before you get onto that,
okay.
And without spoiling anything, I will say the ending or the endings do add more context to certain things.
Okay.
They're also really dumb.
I wholly disagree. I hated them at first as well, Aaron.
No, I know where you're coming from. I like the concept of the endings. I don't like the gameplay approach of the endings.
I can plug my ears if you want to...
We'll stop there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can plug my ears if you want to go with that.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Some stuff I don't like about this game.
Yeah.
The gameplay, I said it was really good, and it is right up until you find a way to break it over its knee. If you use attack helicopters, the gameplay is broken. If you use Peaches and I'm assuming Cheeseburger, which are the cougar and the grizzly bear respectively, the gameplay is broken because they just wipe out all enemy resistance.
If you use Boomer and the girl with the bow, I always forget her name.
Jess.
Jess. If you use them together, stealth is just completely broken.
Yeah.
You can clear out whole camps without doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of camps, enemy strongholds, that I disabled the alarms, and then I just signaled my cat to go and kill everything, and the cougar wiped out every enemy, and I just literally just put the controller down and just waited for. I was like, I'll pick it up if I get shot at, but if I don't, I won't pick it up. And then the cat killed everything. I mean, fair enough, for allowing that, but I feel like that's too easy a method.
They do get down sometimes, but it's a coin toss that you almost always win.
Yeah, it's not balanced. It would be better.
It's fun though. I think it's more of like it's fun versus like how monotonous do you want to make this.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough, but even the fun gets monotonous because I'm like, there's no challenge in fighting these fortresses anymore, or I got to leave my companions at home in order to have any kind of fight.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's all about just like a matter of approach rather than difficulty.
Well, I would have liked to have a bit more like in an effort to be more open world about it. They kind of broke the difficulty curve. And I would have preferred to have the difficulty curve be, have the game be a bit more linear in terms of like progression, but also have a more thought out or a better implemented difficulty curve in the game. There are parts. The story is great, except when it rams itself down your throat. How are you supposed to do
I have
this?
no idea. I'm doing it the exact same way I did it the first time, and they just keep spotting me.
How do you mean?
Well, the main bad guys are part of this group called Project Eden's Gate, and they're like a religious doomsday cult that's taken over this county. And let's put aside the fact that an entire county in the middle of America went black and nobody cares. Just put that aside because fair enough.
It's Montana.
I will say, finish the game. It adds context.
Okay. It better.
Hold some of those complaints until you finish the game.
But these complaints cannot be... The complaints that are coming up cannot be waved away by the ending. I don't care. There are times when you're wandering... You'll be in the middle of a mission, and you'll reach... So there's 3 regions of the game. Each of them are controlled by a sub-boss that work for the main bad guy, Joseph Seed, and he has 2 brothers, John and Jacob, and then...
Jingleheimer
Schmidt.
Yeah, well, Faith is her name, but I actually call her Jingleheimer Schmidt.
There's a bit of jiggle there.
So, and each region has 3 levels of unlock that were the more you liberate outposts and
the more the game will interrupt you when you're doing something.
Yeah, so let's say you'll liberate 3 outposts in a region, and it'll be like, hey, you've reached this arbitrary number. This is going to happen, and I'm like, it'll come up be like, you've been marked by John. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that means. Are the enemy patrols going to be more intense now? No, what it is you get tagged by Trank Dart, and then you're railroaded into a story segment that you cannot skip, and you can't do anything for, while the main bad guy comes up and is like, the end of the world.
You can skip them.
You could, but then you're losing context of the game. He gets right up in your face, and he's like, look at me, I'm evil, and I like to take people's skin and staple it onto buildings, and aren't I just a smarmy asshole? I'm like, yes, you are, and you're making me hate you, which, I mean, fair enough, for good job making me hate the villains, but I don't think that was the intent here. Yeah. And it's very frustrating when that keeps happening, because you'll be in the middle of doing something, like, okay, time to liberate this outpost, and it's like, oh no, I've been tranked, and I'm railroading to the story mission, and I'm all the way across the map. Thank you.
My problem with that is every one of those missions you get captured.
Yeah.
So they're the only...
Your Princess Peach.
Pretty much.
Kinda, yeah. I can accept the fact that you get railroaded into that. I don't like it, but I can accept it. But getting captured 9 times throughout the game makes your...
You should have to fight off waves of dudes, and it doesn't happen.
The game is this power fantasy, and it makes your character seem weak if they get captured 9 times.
That's part of the same problem I have with the ending.
That's another problem I have with the story is in the first. The order I'm doing it in is I unlock John's region first, and then Faith's, and then Jacob's. It just seemed to be the way the story.
That's what I did as well. Yeah.
You can do it in any order, but it seemed like the game was forcing you, not forcing you, but it's recommended you do it this way. I'm like, fair enough. I'll play the game the way the devs want. Let's just see how the story goes, and I think that's the best way to do it. John, the first guy, the first main boss, calls you. He says, your sin is, you represent the sin of wrath, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So my character is supposed to be this kind of super angry, spiteful, I'm gonna kill you guys, even if you're not even if you have, if you have a sympathetic backstory, even if you were forced into doing this or whatever, I'm still going to kill you because I'm angry. That's good. That's a great characterization. Kind of almost like the Doom Marine if there was more ambiguity. Fuck me. To what he was like fighting.
Yeah.
The problem is that the gameplay does not really reinforce that, because you start off as a cop, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I actually start off being like, I'm a cop, so I'm guessing that there's going to be a little bit of like trouble, like in like killing these guys, because like you're on the run, but you're still you're not a soldier, you're a cop. You think you would still try to take them down non-lethally, but the game doesn't like set up anything. Like, as soon as the game kind of opens up and gives you control, you're given a gun and you're just expected to mow down waves of bad guys. I mean, fair enough, it's a gamey thing, but I would have preferred if they had somehow been able to implement like the characterization into the story a bit better. So have your character try to do it non-lethally for a little bit, gets captured by John, gets forced to endure this really powerful... Hey, it's Sam Fisher. This really powerful moment where you're captured, like your fellow deputies are tortured in front of you, and then you're like, okay, now it's on. That would have been a really great moment. That does not happen, and it would have helped characterize your main character, similar to how the protagonist in Far Cry 3 was characterized as a wet behind the ears college frat boy, and then at the end of the game he's like a psychopathic killer. This would have been great as you go from a rookie cop doing their job to a hate-filled person who's almost as bad as the villains themselves. That would have been a great story.
A cool feature in Far Cry 5 would have been if you could quote-unquote arrest people.
Yeah.
Like in Battlefield Hardline, where you aim your gun and there's a button you can press. Or like SWAT. It's like, hey, get down, asshole.
Yeah. Except in the end, you just become a mass murdering cop who crashes quads and goes fishing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were about to be burned alive at the beginning. That I probably would have snapped there as well.
Well, I mean...
But
you could have written the game a bit differently where you wouldn't have been... You know what I mean? Like, it could have been written... That's not an essential part of the plot, is almost being burnt alive.
I considered it one. When he was like...
Laptop.
When he got in your face...
Bigger than my Asus.
Yeah, I know.
When he got in your face, it was like, nobody is coming to save you. And then he's like, burn him. It's like, oh shit, fuck this. You're dead, asshole.
It could have been like, nobody's coming to save you. He leaves to go meet up with, like, be like, they're over here, you escape in the meantime. Jesus Christ.
Nicely done.
You escape in the meantime. And, then you're like, he's got to be in line. There's like 8 roads out of this place alone. Like, I got to be able to get out of here, right? And you need to go to like different roads. Like, holy shit, he's right. There is no way out of here. We can't get a signal out. Oh shit, I guess I gotta. And then you get captured by one of the underbosses, and then you're like, oh, I see how it is. And then you can start killing people, and then there's a whole. I just think that would have been a much more interesting game. I like the elimination of the the climb the cell towers and like unlock the map, because that was boring. And I'm almost okay with what we got, but it is a little bit difficult where you're kind of flying back and forth across the map to find all the strongholds. That's a bit annoying. So I think there's a better way you can implement that, but for what we got, it's good. There's whole sections of this game that you just flat out don't need. Like, there's no reason to kill animals. You get, like, if you kill animals, unless they're attacking you, but if you skin animals to get their pelt, it gives you a very minute amount of money. There's no reason to go fishing. I'm sure it's interesting, but I have no reason to go fishing.
It's better than most fishing games.
Yeah, but there's no reason to do it. Except to, like, waste time.
To complete all the missions.
Yeah, but fuck doing that in an open world Ubisoft game.
I do it.
I guess those are...
Yeah, there's no gameplay incentive to fish.
Yeah, like at least in the other Far Cry games, like 3 and 4...
You get like some weapons sometimes for doing stuff.
Yeah, but like...
You get a sweet fishing rod, which you can only fish with.
It was more... In the other games, I mean, those skinning the animals and stuff was essential too.
It gave you tangible items, and now they're tied to perks.
Yeah, and the perks...
What?
You're killed then?
The perks are
Yeah,
cool,
well, I mean, I was
but there's
surrounded in a
like,
friggin'
I like how you don't
styrofoam
need all of
world.
them. Like you can't. It seems like to me that you can't unlock all of them unless you like 100% the game.
Yeah.
But like there's certain builds you can have. So my build is stealth based with a heavy focus on rifles, and I could easily see me doing a tank build with all the health upgrades and a heavy focus on like machine guns. And
You'll
shotguns
have
and stuff.
most of them by the time you finish.
I don't know because I don't have a lot of them now, and I'm doing I'm not doing every side mission or everything. Because fuck that, because they're not. That's another thing. The side missions are not interesting.
You get a lot of perk points if you go find all the
the
caches?
prepper
caches.
stashes or whatever have a lot of magazines that are.
You get
perk
3
points.
perk points for every one of those you find.
Well, I mean, fair enough. But,
There's also a bunch of those just scattered around anyway.
Yeah.
but like, I don't want to do
I'm
that.
not fucking
It's
doing
boring.
this,
I hate having to complete that's not something I find interesting in video games. Which, if it is for you, fair enough. But that's just not. I hate that completionist. Do you have to infiltrate that place again?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother doing the mission. I'm just gonna kill everybody and then. Okay. I deselect the mission and then it fails me anyway. Can I not do this mission now?
I can't even think of what I was saying, but there's nothing aside from the main missions, which there's some of them are interesting, but like a lot of the side missions are very boring. It's find these trucks and destroy them, find these boats and destroy them.
Yeah.
There's like probably 5 or 6 missions that are kind of just like passive almost, it seems.
Yeah.
Like do this when you come across it.
Yeah.
If you try to activate those missions and then try and go do it, they're really mundane.
Mm-hmm.
So
and there's a couple of like specific like gameplay points in the game where it's almost like not a gimmick, but like there's like a mortar section in one of the missions where you have to hold off waves of guys with the mortar, but it's terrible because you get one shot off in the mortar and then you're locked into an animation of reloading, and then all the guys rush forward, and then you get another shot, and then you go into your camera, and you're furiously hammering the square button, being like, I want out of this because the guys are coming up. And they come up and they kill you. So I literally did the mortar section without touching I did it with the mortar 5 times, died every time.
Oh, is that the one with the bridge that you gotta? Oh,
I never used the mortar there.
But why give me the mortar if you're not going to use it? Like that should be like I was like,
the mortar was amazing for that.
What?
The mortar was amazing for that because you can it's one of those cluster ones.
Yeah.
And it reloads almost as fast as it shoots. So you can pretty well keep that entire base in constant cluster fire.
Oh.
It was amazing.
Well, I didn't find that at all because every time I used it, I found that all the enemies would slip past. I get killed in the middle of reloading. So I literally did that section without touching the mortar at all. And I'm like, why even give me the mortar? And there's another section where I was, I think the name of the truck is, there's a big rig truck you get. I forget what it's called at some point, and it's cool because it got 50.
Oh, the Widowmaker.
Yeah, it's got 50 caliber machine guns on the front. And the mission you get, you're driving down the road smashing into stuff, except some of the stuff you smash into explodes and blows up your truck instantly. I'm like, well, what do you want from me, game?
I'm supposed to shoot it.
Yeah, but I'd shoot it and then it wouldn't blow up, and it's a truck, so it doesn't really stop quickly. And then I get next to it and it explodes and blows my truck away, and I die. And I'm like, well, thank you. So I did that. So it took what was supposed to be a really fun part of the game and made it really frustrating because I kept dying over and over. And there's a bunch, the missions are either you will do them in one shot, no trouble, or you will die and die and die and die and die, or just fail. Because there was just one of your companions, the chick with the bow. Her loyalty mission, or to get her on.
Not a memorable character, apparently.
I know her name because she's the one I use most often because I like the character. She has a really interesting backstory, but her mission is awful. Because the enemy, this is not a great stealth game where,
her AI didn't know what to do when I was following her in an attack helicopter. So,
but
took a long time to do that mission.
If the AI sees you, the AI will unlike in this game where it gives you a bit of time to the AI to notice you. In that game, the bar goes up way too quickly.
There's a bit of time, but it's way shorter than in this game.
And it's not fun. And then every enemy knows where you are instantly. You have very little time to recover if you get caught. So
yeah, I don't like that.
Stealthing is an option, but don't be set to stealth it 100%. Be I'll stealth right up until I get caught and then gunfight.
Yeah.
But there are some missions where you need the stealth, and it is almost impossible. It's, I don't know. I have a lot of grievances with the game. That's the kind of game that kind of needs a sequel or like a retool where like this would be perfect if you, with some minor changes, this would be this would go from like a 7 to like a 9.
Well, I'd say Ubisoft will try again because the game sold a lot of units.
I mean, what is it? Ubisoft does the same thing with each type of game anyway, with varying levels of success.
Yeah.
I don't even mind because I enjoy so many of them.
Yeah.
They need to fix the co-op in Far Cry 5. Ubisoft, please.
What's wrong with the co-op?
You can only get about 500 meters away from each other.
That's dumb.
Oh.
I think we're in a big open world.
Yeah, it's done. You don't really notice it a whole lot if you're playing, co-op and doing missions together. But there are some instances where maybe you want to go get a vehicle and they're going to approach the base from the backside, and suddenly you're getting too far away from your partner. It's like, all right, well, now we have to go together. So it's dumb.
Yeah,
watch out, Scoob.
I don't know what gameplay implications that would have, but it shouldn't be a thing. So,
speaking of implications, hey Adam, you ever rack up over 1 million points in Donkey Kong?
I'm not really gonna. Yeah, you know what? Sure. Yeah, no, I haven't. I got 999,999 points.
Oh yeah? Well, Billy Mitchell has, or has he?
I don't know where the hell I'm getting shot from.
That's why he got the record taken.
Is that a porn star?
Yeah,
it sounds like a porn star's name.
No, Billy Mitchell's not a porn star.
So why, Thomas? Do you know why I got the thing taken away from him? The record?
Because he used the records are only supposed to be set on original consoles.
Yeah.
And if you do it on a different type of unit, which had the game ported onto it, there's the chance that save states can be used.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And
so he basically used an emulator.
Yes.
Evidence was uncovered that the footage he used to rack up his world records was taken using an emulator. And so it doesn't necessarily prove he cheated.
It just
means that he lied that he was using a...
And by the criteria of the record,
yeah,
he isn't the record holder.
Yeah, and it does, and like Thomas said, it does open up the possibility of him using a save state to get that. So, there you go. And as such, his world records have been removed. He's no longer the record.
I mean... So,
is his documentary still on Netflix?
I don't know.
Would a save state be something that you edit, or does somebody have to still get to that point?
Well, you get to that point, and then you save.
Oh, okay, so it prevents you from fucking up.
Yeah, if you fuck up, you can just reset back to that point.
Mm-hmm. He's also got the high score for Pac-Man as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wait, did he get the records back in, like, the 80s? How the fuck did he get an emulator? What were they? There was like
there was this technology for a very long time. Since video games existed, people have figured out how to cheat.
I mean, fair enough, but I mean, like, I always thought emulators like these are for old games.
Is there a video of him doing it start to finish?
No.
Also, we're talking about like the Monochrome Apple II. Like that game was that computer.
Yeah, fucking get your capture software figured out, man.
No, basically, the footage of him playing
Meanwhile,
the
this
game,
podcast is definitely going to be broken.
Goes along with him the moment when he breaks the score. The cabinet that he's using is not a brand name cabinet, which means it's loaded with the game or a ROM or whatever from that period of time. But
we call them OG cabs in the.
No, we don't. Shut up. Oh. You can go ahead.
But with that. Those cabinets, the feature is that they can save progressing games because they're designed to be, like, within the cabinet itself, it switches between 3 or 4 games.
Oh.
And that was great for owners of them, basically in, like, your small... Think of the actual places where the cabinets would have been used.
Yeah, like small rinky-dink
like
arcades.
Stores, so they're like, oh, sweet, we have Donkey Kong and Asteroids and this, all on the same box.
Oh. Yeah.
That's such a dumb thing.
Why?
That, like, this is a fucking topic of discussion. Some
And
dude-
then I
some
know
people
this
care
much
about their
about it makes me even
scores.
sadder.
Well, I mean, we could always talk about how bathroom dryers are spraying hot.
No, we already discussed
Bacteria.
that, Adam. What's next?
Anyway, I guess you could say, Thomas, that his records
No.
were made extinct.
Jesus Christ! I hate you.
I
hate
Adam.
you.
You gotta love your friends, all right?
Hey, speaking of extinct, have you ever heard of a little game called Epic Mickey 2?
Yes.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
I wanted to rent it, and then Blockbuster went out of business.
Epic
Well, you know
Mickey's-
you know what game won't be appearing in Blockbuster? A Blockbuster near you? A game called Extinction.
By the way, speaking of Blockbuster, just a very quick aside, there's a Twitter called The Last Blockbuster.
There is one left, isn't there?
There's like 2 or 3 left in America, but this one has a Twitter, and I don't even know if it's like official, if like is the
probably
Twitter
not
of The
official.
Last Blockbuster, but it is hilarious the stuff they read out. Like it's genuinely really funny content. I highly recommend you check it out. But so, what is this game, Extinction? You brought it up.
I don't want to talk about it. It's made by the team that brought us Killer Instinct, the latest one.
Oh,
It's a
so like,
third-person action game where you fight orcs and stuff. And
So Shadow of War?
Yeah, it's very fast-paced. It's more like
Shadow of War?
much more stylized compared to Shadow of War.
okay.
Some of the gameplay I've seen, you're fighting like an enormous orc, like 100 feet tall orc.
We call that in the business a giant.
A giant orc.
No, just a giant.
Well, he's an orc though.
Okay.
He's clearly an orc, but he's giant.
All right.
And so you like gotta jump up on top of him. It's like Shadow of the Colossus level stuff.
Okay.
With an orc, and you gotta like hit off his armor, and then you can sever his limbs and stuff.
That seems pretty cool.
It seems cool. You should check out some gameplay. I don't know when it's out, and that's the extent of my knowledge.
What's on the list?
I don't know. I wanted to bring it up.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought there might have been like, this game is actually being made by Mecha Hitler.
No.
Don't buy it.
No.
By the way, Mecha Hitler is a terrible game developer.
Thanks.
So we're stopped with the whole Splinter Cell mission, right?
Yep.
You gave up?
Yeah, because you have to defend against waves of Unidad for some reason. And all those guys are super armored, and you're inside of like a styrofoam room, so they can just shoot you through the floor and the walls.
Sweet.
It's dumb.
It seems like a really asinine mission.
And
That sounds
not
like poor
is
building
Splinter Cell in
materials.
any way. Oh, dick
So
sack.
people should check out the Ghost Recon Wildlands Splinter Cell mission. Available now.
Also, I do
Because-
like how Aaron's
shit.
sniper, 50 cal sniper
Oh,
rifle
dang.
shoots down helicopters with one hit. Just,
Yeah.
Explosive rounds,
Damn
dog.
right.
I think he's a bunch of perks, actually. Actually, one of the funnest things I've ever done in a video game
Oh
is
god,
me
are
and
there
Aaron,
perks in this game?
yeah. Me and Aaron posted up on a hill, and we sighted down this road, and we were shooting at cars as they were coming by, and just like in the distance, and seeing our shots like ping, and then you see the cars explode. Oh man, it was great.
It is all the skills here. Weapon damage, ammo capacity, vehicle destruction. It's like a better Far Cry, really. Stealth,
Yeah.
physical stats, squad stats.
I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of skill trees in Tom Clancy games, but you know, whatever.
So kind of speaking, you know,
I can't do anything about it, so whatever.
speaking of orcs and kind of Shadow War. Shadow War actually kind of made headlines again this week, or was it last week? Because their Warner Brothers Interactive is taking out microtransactions from that game. They are, as far as I'm aware, completely removing all of the stupid microtransactions and loot boxes from
They're
the game.
taking out the marketplace.
Which I find, I wonder. Well, first off, I wonder how they're going to balance, because apparently the end game was very skewed towards microtransactions.
They said they're gonna refigure, rejigger. I don't know what I'm saying. They're gonna retouch, fix the end game. They said
Retool.
retool the end game.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Thomas.
Sorry, that was just painful, and I was thinking you
Oh,
get it.
I had the word. I was just going giving it to
No,
My brain stopped.
Stop.
you know, we'll go watch Jim Sterling's video on it because he does a much better kind of look at it than I do. Well, I will do, but basically, like the whole point of the Shadow, the Mordor games, the Talion games, whatever you want to call them, the Shadow Blank games, is that you're
the Italian games.
Yes, is that the Nemesis system? These super unique orcs are supposed to like build the game world around you. It's a really cool, unique system. So to tie those orcs to microtransactions and loot boxes kind of defeats the whole point of the system. So
this is exactly why they're getting rid of it.
You know, it's almost a year. 8 months too late.
If y'all got money, if you own the game and you got money in the marketplace or whatever, you got to spend it, or else. I think it just gets transferred into
the game items. They said
in-game items. So
yeah, you have a.
If you want anything specific, you should spend it.
You have a window to spend your credits.
Game, rethink your life.
Yeah. You have a window to spend the credits you get, and then if it's like a shitload, you just get a bunch of in-game items, I guess. So that's good. I'm glad it's not like, well, you already have microtransactions, so you've been grandfathered into being able to use the system.
Yeah.
So do you guys think it's is this a good thing? Are you gonna buy the game because of this?
It's back on the list.
I don't buy many games new as it stands,
yeah.
But if this game came up used now, I would totally consider it because a detractor of the game isn't there anymore.
Were you boycotting this game as a result of the microtransactions, or was it just? Were you planning on getting it on sale anyway?
On sale anyway.
You ask everybody? No, I wasn't. I don't think I was going to get it. It kind of fell off my radar. But now that this is happening, I'll probably pick it up when it's on sale.
I was very interested. It was actually my most anticipated game of the year until they ruined it.
Yeah.
My most anticipated game of the year last year.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy it. I'm still gonna buy a used copy, so I don't give Warner Brothers any of the money because at this point, fuck them. It's 7 months too late. They should have realized how bad it was week 1 and eliminated within the first month. I don't know. Call me cynical, but I get the sense that they got all the money they were gonna milk out of it, and now they're like, oh hey, let's try and bank some good PR, and everyone's like, oh my god, they're saints again for taking out microtransactions and stuff. It's like, should have been in there in the first place. So, they will not be getting a cent from me. I'll be giving it to a local used game store. Take that. That's for killing the Iron Giant. And Warner Brothers Animation. Anyway.
I still need to see Ready Player One, the Iron Giant's in that.
I bet he dies.
He does die.
Alright, I'll spoil
Oh,
it.
did you see it?
Or does he? I don't know if he does or not.
I don't know.
I think all the robots blow up.
I would imagine all the robots blow up. You're probably right.
I'm
He's
trying
in the final fight scene.
I'm trying. I don't know. I've heard they changed a lot of it from the book, so it's not like I have like secret knowledge from having read the book more than once.
Well, 3 of us have read the book.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff had to be changed though.
At the end of the book, where everyone literally blows up, and then he's like, "Oh, I got an extra life, suckers."
Yeah.
The one extra life in the game
ever.
I wonder how that's handled in the movie.
Probably not at all.
It's probably not even there.
Yeah.
I hope it is. That'd be kind of like.
But
cool.
I mean, the way he finds that extra life. I'm not sure they're going to devote any time to
They
that.
will not.
But he played a perfect game of Pac-Man, wasn't it? Was that it?
What's a Pac-Man?
It was like an original video game. He finds this older, to make a long story short, on this random planet, he finds this arcade in the middle of a junkyard. It has Pac-Man or Tetris or something on it. He plays it, and he plays a perfect game, and he gets a free life, which you are not supposed to get in that. But he
didn't know it was a free life, though.
No. But, like, in Oasis, like, it's not like in a regular video game where you can just respawn. You get 1 life, and if you die, that's it. All your gear's lost, and you got to start over from the beginning. You don't die, but, like, you're...
New character.
Yeah. So, permadeath. Permadeath roguelike.
You know what's silly, though? And I realized this when I reread the book.
What?
It's like, there's no fee to use the Oasis. Right. Every time you die, you need a brand new character. All right. Every new character costs $5.
Oh, what a shitty scenario.
But I was just like, if you're really unlucky, that's gonna suck.
Yeah. So I don't know how they're gonna handle it. There are some stuff they needed to change from the game because there's one point in the book where the main character, they're gonna need to change some stuff from the book for the movie. There was one point in the book where the main
Parzival.
Yeah, Parzival finds he gets to select one giant robot that he can just have, and he's like going through the list, and there's like the RX-78 Gundam, and there's like Mecha Godzilla, and there's like Voltron and the Mechazord, and all these like really famous robots, and he's like, I know what I'm gonna go for, Larpedon, and I was reading like Larpedon. I had to look it up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a Spider-Man mech? Like what the hell? And so I'm glad they kind of changed that because everyone's gonna be like Larpedon, like who's? Although Larpedon did show up again in the kind of alright Spider-Man crossover. Spider-Verse.
How did 15,000 people say Tommy Wiseau? Sorry. Live trivia game show thing.
Well, I'm glad you're paying attention to this podcast. I guess
we'll pay attention to it later when he's watching it.
I'm guessing that's kind of it for. I
mean,
the only other thing we can mention is that EA is bringing microtransactions back to Star Wars Battlefront 2. We already knew that, but it's coming in next week. Mm-hmm. So play the game now while you can.
So all that cosmetic DLC that would ruin the integrity of Star Wars is now coming to Battlefront.
Pink Vaders for all.
I hope every Vader I say playing that game is pink. I hope every single one is pink.
There's no pink Vader.
Yet.
Unless you play on PC with mods.
They should add it just as a joke, Like if EA had any kind of sense of humor.
But it'll ruin the sanctity of this shit.
It's all the multiplayer.
The shit they've created.
Lore-wise, the multiplayer is already a mess.
I hope they just add Lumpy from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Hell yeah. Do you think that's Mala in the Solo trailer? Because you see two Wookiees in that trailer.
Might be Mala.
It's not. Cool I hope it's Lumpy Baka.
Definitely Lumpy. I mean,
who names the kid's son Lumpy Baka?
Oh man, I hope
he got tubers on his back.
I hope he's in the movie and his only role is watching a YouTube video for a half an hour.
He just jerks off to porn, VR porn.
No, even better. He builds a transmitter in real time.
Yeah, with the Jefferson Starship playing in the background or whatever.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't be too upset if I went into Solo and it was just the holiday special that they played.
Jesus. They reshot the holiday special.
Hell yeah.
They reshot.
Oh, man.
They got Harrison Ford to do it again. They digitally recreate Carrie Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
She
looks even more high than she did.
That's why they wanted That's why Harrison wanted him to kill Han off. He's like, after this, we're gonna reshoot the holiday special. Like, fuck this, get me out of here.
Holiday special 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Fucking Life Day, the Lifening or something. Can't kill me if I'm holding on to this guy. Anyway. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so I guess we can probably end that.
So thank you for joining us on this PixelJunkies podcast. Did we say what episode it was?
Yeah,
157.
As we spray hot news feces all over the
Hot feces news.
Yeah. Out of our dryers or whatever.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.
Mess.
Goodbye.
Just like the feces dryers.
Yeah, hell yes.
Whoosh.